Welcome to Nachsimanim. I'm Jacob Thomas, and today we'll be learning melachim aleph, perek Zion. We begin this perek with the royal palace of Shlomo. So now, the Beis HaMikdash took 7 years to build, and Shlomo spent 13 years building his own palace. The explanation here is he wanted to try to build the Beis HaMikdash as fast as possible. So he wanted to make it as grand, as great as he possibly could, but did not want to delay and put all his resources to try to make it as fast as possible. Because we want a building to serve God. And his palace, he was like, okay, if it takes a few extra years, I can sleep in a tent. And we have a description of its architectural grandeur, that it had giant cedar pillars and had a hall that served as a royal armory, and it had big dimensions. It had 45 cedar pillars in 3 rows of 15 to be able to support the roof of cedar beams. And then there was a porch for his judgment where he could judge the people and where he had his throne. We have a description of him sending for Hiram. If you look at the Malbim, he has a very long explanation on how there's 3 Hirams. There's the king, there's a father who's Hiram, who made all the stuff for the Beis HaMikdash, and he has a son who is a master at bronze. While his father was able to do gold and silver, the son is able to do bronze, but another time. And he had skill, and he was commissioned to create all the bronze figures for the Beis HaMikdash and some aspects in Shlomo's palace. In the Beis HaMikdash, we have the giant pillars, Yachin and Boaz. He will establish is Yachin, Boaz is in strength. Also, Boaz is the name of Shlomo's very great-grandfather, who married Ruth, having the kid, who had another kid, that eventually had David, his father. And they were 18 amot high, and in circumference were giant 12 amot pillars. We have what's known as the Yam, the molten sea, which was this 10 amot, about 15 to 20 feet, 5 amot deep, giant basin that had 12 bronze oxen, 3 in each cardinal direction, and then we have the 10 stands with wheels that have carved lines and cheruvim that are that are carved into the basin. This is so that the Kohanim could wash different things, I think mostly their feet and hands. We also have the golden vessels, where he completes the interior with golden vessels, the altar of the incense inside the Kodesh Kadoshim and the Kodesh. We have the table, the shulchan that has the lechem upon him, the showbread table. We have the menorah where Shlomo makes extras. We have the bowls, we have the spoons, and the house of Hashem is now all finished. So, as a recap, we have Shlomo building his palace for 13 years. We have the Hiram, the artisan that was brought to craft the bronze fixtures. We have the bronze pillars of Yachin and Boaz. We have the molten sea that are cast for the courtyard, and we have all the golden interior vessels that are crafted and finishing the project of the Beis HaMikdash. We are in perek Zion, so just like Zichru, we use a gun. Zion in Hebrew, you can say, is a kli Zion, which is a gun. Vessels for the Beis HaMikdash are shot out of a gun to complete the building. This reminds us how in this perek we have all of the amazing bronze and sometimes gold vessels that were built for the Beis HaMikdash. We have the pillars of Yachin and Boaz, and we have the finishing of the Kodesh and the Kodesh Kadoshim. All done by Shlomo, his faithful helper Hiram, who then helped create the vessels for the Beis HaMikdash. And they keep getting shot out in the perek, one after one, like a gun. One after another. One more time with the perek. Vessels for the Beis HaMikdash are shot out of a gun to complete the building. We're now going to do a 4 perek back chazar, starting with perek Gimel, in which we use a camel. The wise camel grants Shlomo wisdom and reveals the true mother. This reminds us how Shlomo was giving korbanos. God came to him, asked him what he wanted. Shlomo said he wants wisdom to judge the people. The next day, his wisdom is shown with two mothers who say that the live baby is theirs, and the other one killed their baby at night. Shlomo pulls out a sword, saying, "Let's cut the baby in half and see what it is," knowing the true mother would never want her baby killed, and is right. And everyone sees Shlomo's wisdom. Perek Dalet, in which we use a door. The door opens to Shlomo's peaceful kingdom. This reminds us how in this perek we have a description of the 12 heads of each tribe that each give Shlomo per month taxes. And then we have description of all of the grandeur of Shlomo's kingdom. Perek Hay, in which we use a stack of hay. Shlomo gathers bricks and hay to use in building the Beis Hamikdash. This reminds us how Shlomo consults the king of Hiram, does a deal with him that Shlomo will give him wheat from hay and oil in return. Hiram will give him cedar planks. We also have a description of the giant stones that Shlomo began to get for the Beis Hamikdash. Perek Vav, in which we use a sword. Shlomo uses a sword to cut an area for the Beis Hamikdash. This reminds us how in this perek we have the beginning of the outside of the Beis Hamikdash, where we have its length, its width, its height. We have the dimensions, we have its cedar wood, we have the golden outlay, and all the grandeur of the structure of the Beis Hamikdash. We're now going to do a 10-question pop quiz on this perek. In which perek does Yoav use a woman from Tekoa to convince David to bring Avshalom back? Shmuel Bet, perek Yodalid. In which perek does Shlomo cast the two massive bronze pillars named Yachin and Boaz? Melachim aleph, perek Zion. In which perek does David give Shlomo a final charge and Shlomo removes political threats from his house? Shmuel Bet, perek Beis. In which perek is the Beis Hamikdash built silently with stones pre-cut at the quarry? Or where do we have the cutting of the stones for the Beis Hamikdash? Melachim aleph, this should really be perek Hay, is where it is built. Perek Vav, we also have a description of many aspects of the Beis Hamikdash. In which perek does Shlomo request an understanding heart in a dream and judges the two mothers? Melachim aleph, perek Gimel. In which perek does Hiram of Tyre fashion the molten sea resting on 12 bronze oxen? Melachim aleph, perek Zion. In which perek does Natan HaNavi tell him about the parable of the rich man who took the poor man's lamb? Shmuel Bet, perek Yud Bet. In which perek does Yoav kill Avner in the gate of Hebron and David laments him? Shmuel Bet, perek Gimel. Shmuel aleph, bonus question. In which perek does the people of Israel ask Shmuel for a king like all the other nations? Shmuel Bet, perek Chet. In which perek does Shimshon defeat the Plishtim with the jawbone of a donkey? Shoftim, perek Tetvav. That is it for today. May we be zoche to finish all of Nach, one perek at a time, and remember it day after day. Have a wonderful day.